Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly comic book roundup. We've covered all of this week's Marvel books, as well as a few of the DC books. Now it's going to wrap things up with, well, this week's Batman books, as well as this week's Magic the Gathering entry. Kicking things off, we've got Detective Comics number 1063. Where we left off, Batman had discovered an ancient music box. An attempted robbery down the docks that he and Talia al Ghul foiled. Though the possibility does exist that Talia may have known a bit more about it than she let on. And an odd family appeared to be making moves into Gotham's underworld. Meanwhile, Bruce had a few odd hallucinations about things, including seeing the Dark God Barbatos. So we begin. Harvey Dent is at a bar watching a singer when Bruce Wayne approaches him. They talk about things. However, Harvey claims that his face has been fixed, though he simply seems to be wearing a gold mask over the damaged part of things. It should be noted also that the coin, the rather large coin that Harvey's constantly spinning around rather than flipping, at least on one end, has Barbatos' face. But Batman has spent the last week trying to get information on the group making overtures into Gotham. One of the last people he tried to interrogate about this ran off of an unfinished bridge, and by the time he hit the ground, he was ash. But Batman points out that the foot soldiers are afraid and the bosses are all in hiding. It's not Batman's rep they're running from. It's not the Penguin or Enigma or any of the usual devils. There's a power vacuum in Gotham and someone new is stepping into it. But everywhere Batman turns, all he hears. Before he can finish, however, Harvey interrupts him, claiming it's the echo of his own voice. Meanwhile, the old world ancestors of the Arkham family are coming to Gotham. They're the ones making overtures. The plan is to lay claim to the remains of Arkham Asylum. We also get the history of the Arkham family. A member came to Gotham, and after a while, one of his descendants opted to change his last name from Orkham to Arkham. But Batman arrives at Blackgate to speak with a criminal known as the Maestro, who explains that his ears are failing with age. Batman's about the music box, however. The isotope dating place puts the music box they see music box at around 400 BC. Apparently plays a melody unheard and unknown for centuries. Batman will let the Maestro listen to it, so long as the Maestro tells him what he makes of it. A time full of unresolved tritones, devil's interval, some musicians call it. The real music is in the harmonics well below the audible frequencies. Black noise is the term, the Maestro believes. It's first encountered in 1883 when Krakatoa erupted and produced a sound that could have covered the world 7 times over. It was Burroughs and Bowie who later suggested black noise could be used to change people. Perhaps it has been used to change people, whole societies, even long before it was discovered. And the Maestro asks if Batman believes that could be true. The music can change a person, or bring to the fore what they truly are inside. And Batman wonders if it's the music itself that has him on his knees, or there's been something within him all the while, now brought to the fore. As Harvey leaves, Barbatos appears to Batman and once again, and has quite a speech for him. Hinting that Barbatos is related to the melody that the music box plays. Later, Harvey's leaving the bar he was at earlier. She's appears to be a wolf. When it turns out they turned out an alleyway and runs into the Arkham's representative in Gotham, Gael Tenclaw. But Tenclaw exposes Harvey to a strange airborne substance which seems to knock him out. And as Tenclaw walks away, he states that he and his associates will make Harvey the king of the underworld once again. As he lies in the alleyway trying to recover, the gold mask falls off, and the coin falls out of his hand. And it's his normal coin. And that is where our A story ends, which brings us to our B story, starring Jim Gordon. Where we left off, Gordon had been hired to look into the disappearance of a local junkie's son. Apparently, he was getting high in the remains of Arkham. We learn that this story apparently takes place before the events of Joker number 15. But he saves a young woman from being hit with tranq darts, so he himself, the one hits him. It appears to be SWAT, but Gordon fights back before losing consciousness, wakes up outside in the rain, surrounded by corpses. So he gives Harvey Bullock a call. Apparently Bullock is offering his sympathies. Upon learning that, that is how Jim learns that his son, James Jr., had passed away. Once again, the young woman he saved from in Arkham is at the gravesite, and she and Jim talk before she vanishes into the rain. Gordon meets up with Bullock. They talk about things. Bullock's a PI and has offered Jim a place in his PI firm, though that's not the work that Gordon wants to do. And apparently Gordon asked Bullock to make a call. About bodies in Arkham, weird machines, so on and so forth. An hour later, they called back. The landowners put up hoardings just that day. Cameras, demolition notices, the whole shebang. They let Bullock's guys in. Real polite, guided tour of the crater. Nothing there. But Jim's keeping an eye on the woman who basically hired him, Annie. And her son is dropped off in front of the bar. And the two of them go in. The door is shut behind them, with a demolition notice placed on the door. And a demolition notice is placed on the door. And that is where the issue ends. Both stories are getting interesting. Especially the A story, but the B story is also, so far, an interesting one. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Harley Quinn number 21. And like the previous issues of Harley Quinn this month, it also has an homage cover. This time, as we saw in the thumbnail, homaging Brian Boland's Killing Joke cover. So where we left off, the team that Luke Fox and Lashina had put together had kind of fallen apart. They found what they were looking for in the old JLA headquarters and possessed Lashina and Grundy, and then teleported back to Earth, where also possessed a whole bunch of soldiers who'd come after Luke Fox. So apparently the soldiers, the entity knows who Luke is. He's trying to get past them and get to his lab, but he barely does, showing more behind him. The creature learned quite a bit about Earth culture, including the Spice Girls and various movies, Full House, so on and so forth. But throughout the issue, Luke is going over it, why he's no longer Batwing. The idea being that the truth, he told Harley that he stopped believing Batwing is what the world needs. But the truth is that he stopped believing that Batwing was what he needed. Bronze Tiger, Verdict, and Killer Frost are discussing things on the Watchtower while Harley's trying to find and Harley's being, well, Harley, but she finds the teleporter and realizes it works, so a plan is hatched to teleport down to Earth with the JLA teleporter. And they arrive. And probably have to deal with the soldiers, though. While some of them are almost overtaken, they do manage to not be. A group of the possessed soldiers are electrocuted, not fatally as far as I can tell, and Luke saves them in a new costumed identity, more Fox-based than Bat-based. But Luke apologizes for not telling the team the whole truth. Basically saying, yeah, this was something I needed to do, and I decided to have you guys do it instead, and I made it worse. Which Harley compares to a Roomba running over dog poop. But Harley talks to Luke, and it turns out that Luke read her dissertation, which is all about identity. But she's able to, basically she gives him the pep talk that he needs. And he comes up with a plan, and turns out he's also built some prototype weapons for dealing with the creature. A staff with electrical currents at the ends for incapacitating the creature. A pair of guns that project electrical pulse to knock them out from a distance. Some bracers which should extend Killer Frost's reach and regeneration of her natural abilities, and a souped up mallet for Harley. And Luke Fox leads him out to save the world, and that is where the issue ends. The conclusion of the whole story being in next week's Harley Quinn 2022 annual. I am honestly enjoying the story. And anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Task Force Z, number 11. Where we left off, it seemed as though Jason Todd had enough of dealing with Harvey Dent. And we had learned a bit about the truth of just who Bane is, while Mr. Bloom resurrected Gotham. So, we opened a few months previously with an argument between Dent and Jason. Then Jason basically telling Harvey to stick it. So, yeah. And apparently, Jason's grabbed the Gotham Gazette. The picture of Bane flying through the air is made the front page. At Powers International, Mr. Bloom is working on a new plan when Gotham Girl shows up. And is simply thrilled to see her brother. When Jason arrives at Powers International, he's met by Arkham Knight, Deadshot, Man-Bat, and one of the other replacement members of Task Force Z, Copperhead. But Jason deals with Arkham Knight, while Deadshot taunts him. But Red Hood is knocked into Gotham. And while Jason tries to take down Gotham, it doesn't really work, and Man-Bat gets impaled, while Gotham Girl lays a solid hit on Red Hood, knocking him out. Meanwhile, Geraldine Powers shows up at Bloom's lab and discovers, while he's trying to fix the giant hole in the wall, and discovers that Bloom had killed his superior and left his head in a jar. The rest of Task Force Z is trying to sneak in underneath the sneak into Powers International through the underground tunnels, but they are attacked by Bloom in the Batman mech armor, which Jim Gordon used. Which kills Zaz and one of the others, putting it down to just Grundy, KG Beast, and Two-Face. Though Bat Bloom makes short work of both of them, destroying KG Beast's head and seemingly slamming Grundy into the ceiling and roof of the tunnel before taking Two-Face prisoner. When Two-Face comes to, both him and Jason are bound to examination tables, with Bloom opting to copy their memories. Apparently, he's also he's the person who developed Lazarus serum, only one who knows the formula, and he has all the remaining samples in his possession. He does to retire to a nice beach somewhere. But one of the building security people has been put in Red Hood's outfit and activates a button on one of the gauntlets of the costume, which causes a bomb within KG Beast to blow up and take out a large portion of the lower floors of the building. And that is where the issue ends. Okay. Interesting. Darkly fun, like every other issue. Next up, we've got Batman Fortress, number 4. Where we left off, during the alien-induced blackout, Batman has made a deal with, someone he'd rather not make a deal with. President Lex Luthor. Who was totally in as soon as the idea of breaking into Superman's house was revealed to be the plan. So, Batman and Lex both arrive in the Arctic. Turns out, though, that the fortress has been taken from its location. The aliens show up, the one responsible for the blackout, and Batman makes it clear that Superman's an ally of his, and, meanwhile, Lex has got a sniper handy who takes a shot at one of the aliens and seemingly kills a different alien, thanks to ricochets. But so the ice collapses, and Batman and Lex manage to escape on the chopper that brought Lex there. Then but the aliens are collating the information they have, and Next, Batman's back at the Batcave, not exactly trying to figure things out when a Green Lantern arrives. The Green Lantern known as Dale, who appears to be the same race as the Green Lantern known as Chip. Yeah, they're both squirrel appearing aliens. One named Chip, one named Dale. I wonder if we've heard of something like that before. But Dale's there to help, even though the Lanterns have been ordered not to do so, or not to intervene. Batman and Dale go to Nepal, to meet with a contact of Batman's, Detective Chimp, trying to figure out what's happened to the fortress. And Detective Chimp figures it out. He was moved to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. Now, Dale doesn't have his power battery with him, so he can't. All the charge he's got in his ring is all the charge he's got at the moment. Excuse me. And Batman is working on a plan to survive the pressures of the deep. And that is where the issue ends. I'm seriously loving this book. It's been such a fun ride. I really can't wait to see how it plays out, how the whole thing plays out. And so, moving on to our last book for the week, we've got Magic the Gathering: Ajani Goldmane. So, who is Ajani Goldmane? Ajani Goldmane is a Leonin planeswalker from the Naya shard of Alara. He's been a major player within Magic story for the Magic running storyline for quite some time. He's part of the Gatewatch. He participated, like most planeswalkers did, in the battle against Nicol Bolas on Ravnica. And in the upcoming Dominaria United set, the Phyrexians complete him. And he kills Jai Ballard while under the Phyrexian influence. So, apparently, Ajani's nephews are playing Planeswalker, a game they often play. One of them will play as Ajani, the other will play as Ajani's daughter, Jazal. And so, but Ajani tells them some Planeswalker stories. First off, one set on Eldraine. He's been helping something is destroying land around, leading to a village, and some sicknesses have arrived, but Ajani manages to heal the sick and make sure everything all is well. When the Planeswalker Tamio shows up and shows, the swath of destruction has already arrived. Apparently, it was a swarm of insects. And so, Ajani and Tamio band together to take it down, and it turns out the insect is actually, one of the insects is a Planeswalker. The Planeswalker known as Grist. But Ajani and Tamio are able to talk to Grist and make a deal with Grist. An interesting point is the fact that Ajani is not the first Planeswalker to have been completed. That would have actually been Tamio. Next story features Ajani visiting Arlen Cord on Innistrad. Appears that the Markov Manor is, it seems as though it might be haunted. And so Ajani and Arlen explore the manor. Arlen taking going from the top down. Ajani going from the bottom up. In the basement, Ajani encounters the Lithomancer Nahiri, who most recently tried to bring the Eldrazi Titan Emrakul to Innistrad, only for Emrakul to get trapped in Innistrad's moon. But Arlen catches up to Ajani and Nahiri talk about what Arlen's done, and while she doesn't feel remorse, she at least kind of thinks, okay, maybe it was the wrong play to attack Ajani or attack Soren. When Arlen arrives and very nearly gets into a fight with Nahiri, but the fight is stopped, however, by Ajani, who talks to Arlen down, and Nahiri Plains walks away. Which brings us to the final story, the story of a young Ajani and his brother Jazal. They were involved in a hunt, but they tracked their quarry into the woods. But they noticed something odd about their quarry's behavior. When a bull ceradon shows up, and Ajani and Jazal take it on, when another Leoner arrives, and manages to save the day. And so Ajani bids his nieces and nephews goodbye before heading out on his next Planeswalker journey. Though it is noted that it should be noted that one of the footprints he leaves behind appears to be black. While I don't think that this is necessarily indicative of Ajani having been completed, I can at least it's at least something to theorize from it. But that is where the issue ends. It's a good issue, like a little bittersweet, especially with Ajani telling his nieces and nephews that he'll come see them again. Considering that it seems like Ajani's story has ended. But otherwise, a neat issue, nice anthology. Anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.